Hey guys, welcome back. We're here for another Q&A. Today's question is sent in by Caleb. His question is, I'm wondering how to increase my fastball velo. I'm sitting around the low 70s, or really want to reach the high 70s and 80s. So, great question. I think that the first thing I want to address and make sure you're doing is incorporating some mobility into your training. Today, I'm going to recommend the world's greatest stretch. It's going to do a great job of improving hip mobility, which is critical to pitching, being able to create some separation, especially down the line, down the bump towards home plate. We need to have good hip mobility to create good distance, a good stride, which is going to help you generate a little more force. And we're going to take a look at that now. The world's greatest stretch. This is going to encompass and work on just about everything. It's a list of different positions, and you want to give each one its own time, and you want to respect it. So you want to make sure you get the most out of it, and that only happens if you spend time in it. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to get in a lunge. Well, it doesn't matter where you start because you're going to do both sides. You're going to get in a lunge. You're going to bring the same side elbow of the front leg down to the instep, down to the ground. And this is position one. You're going to spend time here, and you're going to look to feel that stretch in your hip. And from here, you're going to go to position two, where you're going to rotate and reach up, facing the front knee. You're going to hold back. You're now actively driving through the palm on the ground, really challenging that rotation. That's position two, which goes into position three, where the hand finishes on the outside of the shoe. And now you're going to extend your front knee as far as you can. You're going to feel this through your hamstring. And because of the position, the shoulder blades are protracted, so you're also getting a little bit of a gliding. Good. From there, you're going to stand and essentially repeat through that. I'm going to go through this really fast, but you're going to take your time. Again, elbow of the same side front leg is going to go down to the instep, to the inside part of the ankle of the foot. And then from here, you're going to rotate, reach up. Now I'm driving through the ground, really challenging that rotation. And then the hand goes on the outside. I adjust the back foot, and as best I can, extend the front knee, really challenging the shoulder blades by separating them, and then again, feeling that stretch in the hamstring. All right, that's the world's greatest stretch routine. You can take your time, spend maybe 5 to 10 seconds in each of those three positions, and go through that 2 rounds to get the most out of that. All right, Caleb, the next thing I'm going to recommend for you is the pitcher's shot put. This is using a light medicine ball, no heavier than 6 pounds. The goal here is to generate maximum acceleration, put as much force into the medicine ball so we can train the body to accelerate, generate max velocity, generate some power, and this is going to help improve not only your power, but it's going to do it in a way that's going to transfer to pitching because we're working on the same plane. So that is going to be the next drill for you to work on. Again, it's a pitcher shot put. Let's take a look at it now. The pitcher's shot put. This is a great drill to emphasize hip, shoulder separation and acceleration. And you're going to also be able to check in on your foot, your front, your landing foot, your stride leg, and making sure that you are not collapsing on the front knee, that you're actually keeping it fixed or extending through. So what you're going to do is basically your front foot is going to be as if you've already landed from your stride. Your back foot can be loaded, and what you're going to do is you're going to preload once and then go into the actual shot put. Cool? So this is very important because the preload, that initial rep where you're just simply loading, your counter moving, is going to help create that stretch, and you're going to feel it through your obliques and your core. So again, front foot's pointed towards home plate, we'll say. You're going to load, and accelerate through. Thinking about using that stretching through your midsection to help accelerate the med ball through your target. Cool. So you want to make sure you're doing this on both sides. How many reps? The reps are going to stay fairly low, single digits. So we're thinking 5 to 7, but the goal is to keep the speed the same the entire time. So if you start to notice that you're tired, then at that point you should just rest. And that basically sets how many reps you should be doing. So if that happens after 4, then your sets are 4 reps. Again, repeat on both sides. You're resting a ton between your sets, and no more than 3 to 4 sets should take care of business. So that's the pitcher's shot put. All right, Caleb, the last thing I'm going to recommend is improving our max strength. This is important because it's going to train us to use every fiber of our body to work together as one. When we're pitching, that's exactly what we want to do. Another key element of why we like this deadlift is because it trains you in the hinge pattern. When we pitch, you are ideally getting in the hinge pattern because it's going to make use of those strong posterior chain muscles, the calf, hamstring, glute, and that is going to help you generate a lot of force. So the deadlift puts you in a hinge pattern, which is what we want to use when we're pitching. So it makes a very good transfer of use case. So the deadlift is going to be critical. Make sure you're doing this correctly, but we want to go heavy so we can really exert and develop that power and that force. So let's take a look at the deadlift.
Let's go over the technique here. When we set up for the deadlift, let's make sure that our feet are underneath our hips. We're doing a conventional stance, so feet are directly underneath our hips. It's going to allow us to apply maximal force. Our hands are going to be just to the outside of our shins, in line with our shoulders. So from there, we want to make sure that we organize our back and our feet are firmly on the ground from heel to toe. We want to take a nice deep breath inward, and once we brace through the midsection, through the core, we're going to accelerate by pressing into the ground through our entire foot. And our goal is to keep the bar close the entire time. At the top, we want to make sure that we lock out the hips. A good cue here is to think about pressing your hips into the bar. And that's going to help turn on your glutes and make sure that we take any extra pressure on your low back away. From there, we want to make sure that we lock out the knees and finish as tall as we can. At the top is a good place to take a deep breath and reset before we go into our next rep. When we begin to work the bar down to the ground, you start with a hinge. So you want to unlock the hips, reach the butt back, and that's going to be the best way and the safest way to bring the bar back down to the ground. Make sure that the bar doesn't start too far away from you. So a good rule of thumb is 2 finger widths away from your shins. So the barbell is not directly in touch with your shins, but it's not away and outside of your base, which would basically mean the barbell is in front of your toes. So we want to make sure that the bar is close as we go through the deadlifts. Emphasize driving through the ground, lock it at the top, and you've got yourself a good deadlift. Hey, get your training questions answered for free. Just click the link in the bio.